Let's do it. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. All right. Uh, that that was brought to you because in the moments leading up to you seeing Tone's
Mhm.
handsome face, he was saying, "Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see."
Do the snake.
Do the
Oh
alligator.
yeah, all these. Yeah,
Do
do the mashed
the
potato.
sprinkler.
The
Do
string.
the fish.
Oh really?
Yeah, I don't know. I just made
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought so.
I think it's like this. Isn't it fish like this? I don't know.
It's really that's really something out of the 60s, isn't it? This,
Well,
you know,
the alligator and the sprinkler, I remember that from the 80s.
alligator. That
And the
I don't know.
snake, that
Yes,
was like
yeah.
that was MC Hammer choreography, wasn't it?
I have no idea. And
And
but yeah, the mashed potatoes and everything
like a
that
mashed
goes back to the
potato and a
60s.
mashed potato.
Yeah.
I can do the twist. Holy cow, I just see what you did there. Because we were talking off camera about maybe doing another episode on music, and here we are talking about music. And music obviously is very important for all those reasons that you can come up with, and then reasons you probably haven't even thought of. But I realize, our trailers have music. So
Yes.
when you tune in, and I've got some new ones in the works, there's music. That's fun. Some of it you know, and some of it you don't.
Exactly.
But
And I noticed the other day that there's this new thing on YouTube or whatever medium you watch. There's this thing about the 70s disco vibe. They're bringing it all back in AI. That's so awesome.
really,
Really cool. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen a bunch of beautiful black women in bell bottoms and deep cleavage and big back afros. Really cool.
the
Yeah,
AI thing, that's
I think I love that. I really do. It has bad sides, but hey, everything has bad sides. Even Trump. Okay, it was a
you
side joke.
couldn't help
Anyway,
it. Oh my God.
I
Yeah,
couldn't help it.
actually, I don't
Oh my God.
know. I don't know if you heard on that side of the pond, there's a family that I believe they are bringing litigation against one of the AI companies because their 14-year-old
Oh,
boy, did you hear about this? Their
nee.
14-year-old boy uh started communicating with an AI chatbot who ideated suicide and talked about, and the eventually the AI apparently, because they have manuscripts on this, was suggesting that, really, if things are that dire for the boy, and I don't, all of this for me is secondhand, so I haven't even had a chance to
Yeah.
research it. But apparently the AI entity encouraged the boy to take his life,
Well, you have
and he
the
did.
craziest shit going around, and it's already for decades. There were
Well,
also you
you
remember these backwards lyrics in music,
yes.
stuff like that.
Yes.
What do you
Well, and remember, I think I think the power of suggestion and the power of influence. You
mm,
and I were alive and old enough to remember uh Jim Jones and Jamestown
mm.
and
Yeah,
everybody drinking the
exactly.
Kool-Aid. And unfortunately, that's that's where the mindset comes
Yeah,
from, because everybody drank the Kool-Aid, and of course it came out later that some of these people were forced to drink the Kool-Aid.
yeah, yeah, right. Yes, well, people use sometimes people use cool shit for bad shit. That's what it is. You
That's
know,
every
it's
that's everything, isn't it?
of course, it's all uh, uh, comes out of the human mind, so the human mind can do fucked up things with it as well. That's how it is.
Well, and I
But
I agree. I think
yeah,
I think when you talk about music, that's not excluded, is it? You know,
there you
there
go.
are people who use music to inspire, to bring
Mhm.
out the most amazing emotions. There are people who use music to incite riot or violence.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Just for the last couple of years, I discovered a band called Rammstein. It's Deutschland,
Hmm.
and they have the most horrible lyrics. But I went to a concert of them, and
Yeah.
the people who are there, they are the nicest people you can ever meet. It's really amazing.
Well,
You
you
know, you
know,
go like, whoa, there must be some
the
really crazy,
husbands,
fucked up people walking around, but no,
the
nothing.
husbands, wives, and relatives that were connected to those serving in the SS were also some of them very lovely people.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. You got me there. But on the other
Yeah,
hand, well, you
but
never
you know,
know. That's true.
it's really strange though how music can be
Yeah.
used, how it can. I mean,
Mm,
incidental classical is a great example, and I love incidental classical. And for those who don't know, incidental classical refers to classical music composed for movie scores and productions like that.
mhm,
Um, it's to a lesser degree in theatrical musicals because that's a completely different thing. The music's happening in real time with an orchestra in the pit. But you know, when you go to see a film and you feel this amazing sense of being uplifted or this sense of wonder or this sense of the ability to charge into battle even if you have no armor or sword and shield, I guarantee you,
mm,
if you stop
mm,
and think about what you're watching, you're also going to hear music. And it's amazing how
mm,
music manipulates us
mm. Yes,
for good and for bad.
of course. Yeah. Well, that's a
Well,
fact, I would say. Yeah.
look at all the different musical composition groups you've been a part of. Look at all the different bands you've been a part of,
Yeah.
all the different shows at Center
Mm,
Park. And Center Park, you think about it, every live show performed at an entertainment destination or entertainment theme park, it has to either sound familiar or be familiar, and it has to be upbeat, and it has to cause you to at least tap your feet while you're sitting in your seat and you get up feeling pretty good. I mean,
yeah.
we did that if you think about that, putting the house dump music together for King Solomon's Mines. We wanted upbeat music
Yeah.
and lots of fun stuff that had people walking out on a high. Because
Yeah.
can you imagine if it was all funeral dirges?
Can't know. Yeah, that was pretty well um, uh, brought together.
Yep.
You did that, right?
Hmm.
It was your thing, or
Yeah,
Ollie, or
yeah. I
you?
got to sit down with Arnold and we grabbed
Oh no, it's yeah,
because they had the ASCAP license, we could play any music we wanted. So
yeah,
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 everything from bare naked ladies to everything else, you know?
yeah, yeah. I wish. Do you still have that list?
You know, I might. I think there's a possibility
Yeah.
he
Look it up on
recorded it.
Spotify and make a playlist.
I think there's a possibility he recorded it onto a
Mm.
mini disc. So I just have to see if I can find it.
Or what you can remember, just put it on
Yeah,
Spotify.
yeah,
You can do that.
yep,
Do you have
yep.
Do you have
I feel, you
Spotify?
know what? I feel, yeah, I feel also
Okay, cool.
I think I still have a video of the last show, and the last show had that music playing even as we were doing meet
Yeah,
and
yeah,
greets,
yeah.
and people were coming down
Yeah,
to say hi and take photos.
yeah, yeah. That was something else.
It
Really
really
great.
was.
Yeah,
It was a magical experience.
yeah, it was.
Transformative.
And there was one particular track right before the show started. It was in Indiana Jones June,
Yep.
and that always got me hyped up.
Yep.
Really, really hyped up. That was awesome. You could feel the tension building up in that song, and like
Yes.
you're standing ready with all these volunteers
Yeah.
that you picked out of the audience, and waiting around the corner with your goofy native costumes was really
Hmm.
funny. That was awesome. Yeah,
But it's so much fun to do that, and it's so much fun to pull the curtain back and
yeah.
make the audience a part of the show.
Hmm. At one show, yeah, Dutch viewers might, yeah, they do know this guy. The American audience probably not, but one day in the audience there was a guy named Ad Visser. And Ad Visser is a really, really well-known Dutch guy
Uh-huh.
who presented the top 40, like the music top 40
Yeah, okay.
in the Netherlands on television. That was the biggest music show on television that in that time. And he was in the audience at King Solomon's Mice. And I noticed him. I went like, "Ah, I can't ask him. Let the guy be.
Yeah.
He is in the spotlights all the time. Just
Yep.
I'm gonna ask him." So I I I said to the audience, "Well, who wants to volunteer for playing a role in the show?" And he was the first one. He was the first time he stand up. He was
That's
this guy,
great.
and he was in the show. You were there as well.
And
I'm sure
he had,
you
well,
must be.
but he,
He's-
to your point, he had as much fun as
Yeah.
everyone else.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. I was really happy that he did it. Was such a great moment. Yeah. The one and only Ad Visser.
That's
I will
very
send you a
cool.
picture of him.
Yeah,
And he's out of the spotlight, obviously, for a
right.
long time already, and he's already in his late 60s or 70s, already 70 something. And
Well, that was 25
he's
years ago.
still, yeah, and he still looks like a cool guy. He's all gray, but he still has all his hairs. And and but he still looks the same. And he wears this groovy clothing. He's like a young old guy. It's amazing. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, and he was all really into it when I had him backstage. He really was, and he went like, "Oh yeah, what we're gonna do? Yeah." He was all, it was eyes were wide open, and he was really into it. It's really, really cool. Yeah, that was a great experience.
Yeah,
And funny, yeah,
I remember a few celebrities and musicians and
yeah,
others who came through, and
yeah,
um, that's been my experience with every
mm,
live show I've ever done.
mm.
If you're doing it for any length of time,
Yeah,
celebrities come through, music stars, movie stars,
mm,
just
yeah,
and what's fun is when you get to talk to them and you find out that, boy, they're just normal people that want to go out and have a good time with their family. I mean,
yes,
once in a while you meet someone who you think, oh man, I've
yeah,
always wanted to meet him, and then 30 seconds into talking to him, you're like, I'm very sorry, I'm
okay,
engaged.
yeah, yeah, yes, you burst your bubble.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's where the expression
Sometimes you meet people you never like.
don't ever meet your heroes. That's where it comes from.
Yeah, yeah. They could smell out of their smelly breath or anything.
Or
You'd
their
be like, yeah,
attitude.
yeah, yeah. Smelly breath is not the worst thing, but attitude,
Yeah.
yeah,
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 attitude.
yeah, yeah. I met
Yeah.
a guy from the Netherlands, a singer. His name is Gerard Joling. He's very famous in the Netherlands because everybody knows the guy.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody. You can walk up to the first person, you go like, "Hey, you know Gerard Joling?" He says, yeah, of course. Everybody knows the guy. And he's already in his 60s as well. But it was very popular back then. Yeah. But also really down to earth and
More,
funny and always joking.
I love that.
Really nice guy. Really. Yeah. He's
And
always the same.
if
Yeah.
people like that, if celebrities at that level can
Yeah.
be civil and wonderful, there's no
Yeah.
excuse for the rest of us.
Nay, there you go. Yeah. He is. Yeah. He's very funny. And yeah, well, the most of the celebrities that I met, they were really okay. I can't remember any that were not. Toch? Yeah, no, I don't know. So good experiences there, always. Yeah. How
Yeah,
about you?
I feel you would remember it. It's kind of a sticking thing because sometimes you almost take it personally if you have a terrible experience with a celebrity. But I
Right.
you know it I had one experience. It wasn't terrible, but it was an actor and he was an ass. And I'll leave
Eh,
it at that. And he doesn't even deserve the
eh.
airtime of me mentioning his name. But
Yeah,
you know, for
that's
every
a shame.
person like that, um,
Yeah.
you meet 100 people that are George Lucas or Toby Keith or
Uh,
um, uh, you know, American football players and musicians and
hmm.
stars and celebrities who
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, Elita tells a great story because you know she used to work for Disney as well, and
Mm.
she was with VIP guest relations, so she handled the VIPs that especially if they were requested, and she had been requested because she had worked with him before to company Sir Anthony Hopkins,
Ah,
and
okay.
and she had gotten detained, so she was running late and she was running backstage to get to where she needed to be. And she goes, and then this guy stops me and he's asking for directions and I just couldn't be bothered. And I was really irritated because I was already late. And it probably wasn't as nice as I should have been to this homeless person who she found out about an hour later was Sir Anthony Hopkins. He hadn't yet gotten out of makeup. And
Ah,
she was so stumbling over herself, apologetic, and he just brushed it away. He laughed and brushed it away,
yeah.
and they got on just fabulously. So
I can
uh,
imagine. You know why? Because here's another beautiful musical story. Have you ever heard, and maybe the audience, do you know André Rieu?
yeah, he's a composer, right?
He's no, he's a performer of
Okay.
violin. He has this
Oh
big
yes, yes,
orchestra.
yes, yes,
He tr
yes,
he
yes.
travels all around the world.
Hopkins wrote a
Thank
concerto,
you,
which was
thank
yes,
you. Yes,
yes.
exactly.
How
Yes,
many
that's
people?
awesome.
So if you learned nothing else today, those of you that are
Yeah,
listening and watching, you learned
yeah.
that Sir Anthony Hopkins composed, and it was when he was much younger,
I don't
a
know. I don't recall.
a full concerto for violin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes. And
yeah,
he reached out to André Rieu
yep,
and he said, "I want you, please, can you perform this music
yep.
for me?" And there's this whole, well, a small documentary about it. And then,
Right, right. Well,
yeah,
I believe
yeah,
the performance is recorded too.
yes, it is.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Put it in the description below. Yeah, and Andre, Andre Rio went like, "Oh yeah, okay, whatever. I'll look at it. I'll look at it because he's a celebrity himself. So he went like, you know what, man, it happens all the time. Of course,
Yeah.
people they go like, yeah, listen, I wrote this piece of music. Can you look at it? Or And he went like, yeah, 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 okay. And then he listened to it and he went like, whoa, that's, he thought it was so beautiful. So he contacted him right away and he said, yes, I'm going to do this. It's beautiful. Yeah.
So,
So, yeah, there's a
so
recording. You see Anthony Hopkins sitting there with his wife in the
yes.
audience.
So
My God.
that gives us a chance to actually bring up another point that connects. You should never,
Hmm.
excuse me, you shouldn't give up. If you have a thing that you want to see performed or that you want to do, you shouldn't give up and you shouldn't think,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to take a look at it because there's so many stories of people who composed music, of people who wrote songs, wrote plays, wrote pilots for TV shows, and
Hmm.
it got into the right hands,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
someone, you know, someone read it, couldn't put it down, and then picked up the phone and said, "When can you be here?
Yes.
Because we want to do this."
Right. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes that happens, and it's hard to put a finger on it, put your finger on it, or because it sometimes it's a momentum or a
Yep.
series of events or a chain of things. You never know. It can happen. It picks up and it takes off. You go like, hmm, where did this come from? And all of a sudden you're a big hit, or you have a big hit, or as an actor as well.
Right.
You know, sometimes people get famous overnight. For what? You don't know. If you backtrack and you look at it, you go like, whatever happened?
So,
Why is this happening? You just don't
so
know.
that's what you just said. The overnight success, you know, in
Mm,
Hollywood and theater as well, the overnight success takes 10 years to make. And we hear about someone
mm,
who becomes famous
mm.
overnight. But then if you
Yeah,
look back, you see, oh yeah, they started whether you're talking a comedian, a musician, a singer, an
right.
actor, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah,
started at a local service circuit. They started in a local
yeah,
venue
yeah.
and someone found them. But for many of them, yeah, I always find it amazing
Mm,
how many actors and musicians had been
mm,
plying their art for a very long time, artists as well, physical artists as well, for
mm.
years, and literally were right there at the threshold of saying, I'm throwing in the towel. I'm going to go get a real job. I'm done.
Yeah,
And then
right.
someone comes along,
All of a
you know, and
sudden, yeah,
they have
bam.
$2 left in their pocket, right? And
Yeah,
man, that story, it happens all of the time. And
yeah, it
if you
does.
believe in what you're
It's
doing,
amazing.
you stick with
Yeah,
it pays off.
yeah. It does. And of course you have the good examples on social media, for instance. You have these great singers that all of a sudden come floating on the surface. Yeah, and that's because of social media, but there's
Right.
also a lot of garbage, and that's
Sure is.
and there's so it's also social media has its own purposeful filter, so to speak, because the people who are really good, you'll know they will get noticed. Like this Dutch singer, female singer, she calls herself Davina Michelle, and she did a song from Pink.
Okay.
And listen, well, what happened is that Pink herself saw the video on YouTube, and she went and you see her reaction on it, and that made her famous. In the Netherlands, she's one of the big acts now. It's really, yeah, because she got compliments over her performance of the song of Pink song. What was it again? Uh, oh, I can't come up
Firework,
with it,
maybe?
but that's
I
okay.
don't know. I'm sure it's a
Yeah.
popular song.
Anyway,
She,
yeah, it's great. I'm gonna
yeah,
send you.
she wouldn't have done a B track. Well, but so another
Mm,
example of that same exact thing, there were a couple of guys who called in every single favor they could, and they made a short film called Troops. Here in the United States, there's a very popular, and it's spawned so many spin-offs. There's a popular reality show called Cops.
Yeah,
And the music in the background is bad boys, what you gonna do,
yeah,
what you gonna do when
right.
they come. Anyway, it's,
Coming for
and
you.
it's,
Yeah.
and these are the actual stories of the men and women in law enforcement. All people are considered innocent until proven guilty, whatever it is, blah, blah.
Oh
So
yeah, of course.
it's
The usual
hysterical.
American disclaimer.
Yeah, yeah, it's hysterical. So
Yeah.
these two guys decided to do a riff on that theme, but with Star Wars, and it's called Troops for the Stormtroopers. And they call
Troop
in every
right.
single favor they can. They get friends to make the costumes, to help with the special effects, every single thing. And
Right.
the rumor, and I don't know if it's mythology or not, the rumor is they were able to do the entire production for under $2,000.
Mm.
They get contacted by George Lucas's PR
Right.
team. And
Right.
basically, it's Mr. Lucas wants to meet with you. And you're thinking, I created this
Yeah.
thing because I love Star Wars. I sure hope I'm not in trouble
Right.
now. And they both show up to Lucasfilm, and he's
Yeah.
peppering them with questions. How much did it cost you to make this? How'd you do this? How? And he's blown away
Right.
because everything costs so much money for him.
Yeah.
After he's done talking with them, it's a conversation that took a half hour, according to stories. He offers them both
Mm.
a job as interns. He's so
That's
blown
awesome.
away by what they have
Yeah, that's so
done. He
cool.
says, "I
Yeah.
want you to come work for me. Your creativity is exactly what I need here." So, great
Yeah.
example
I can imagine. Yeah.
of having someone who sees you and says, "Hey, let me be a part of that." And I hear those stories all the time. People who have created series that air on YouTube, that direct things, get notified or contacted by Hollywood production companies. Um, I think it also goes to the point of, when you have a dream, chase after it,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
action happen. That shows you're not just sitting on your ass doing nothing. And
Mm.
and the thing that you're after comes to pass.
Right. I absolutely agree. Now that we're in the Star Wars thing, there's also something that I saw the other day that kind of annoyed me. And I was that, of course, Star Wars. What are you laughing about already?
There was something that kind of annoyed me. I'm very
Yeah,
excited
it
to hear what it
annoyed me.
was.
That's like it annoyed the shit out of me, really, because you know that there are people who saw the movies of Star Wars back in the day. You did, I did, of
Yeah,
course,
out of
and it
order.
was yeah, it was sensational. It was. It was like what if you're into
I like
science
to
fiction,
point
of
out
course,
that
which I am.
while you're talking right there, I've got the Mandalorian's helm, and
Oh,
I've
right.
got
Yeah,
Baby
exactly.
Yoda.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It's awesome. Anyway, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I am. I really am. So, okay, you had uh, first, two, and three, right? And then they came with the prequel, and it was also awesome. Come on, you can't argue with that, can you now? It was
Right.
awesome. I loved it, really. And now, of course, you have the streaming services, and Disney also went into the market. And now you had the Mandalorian,
Mm-hmm.
and now you have the Acolytes, and you have all these freaking
Ahsoka,
vinegar
yeah.
pissers. They go like, oh yeah, well, it's all a rip off, and it's bad quality. What are you talking about? This is freaking
The
awesome.
Mandalorian, I
Can
think,
you
was
imagine
brilliant.
that?
Yeah.
These people are crazy. Are these people crazy? Or they just want to be nagging about something? And what is that? I don't know.
The man
I don't know.
I think the Mandalorian, just
Yeah.
as the Star Wars canon has with those nine films, now I think the Mandalorian introduced Star
Mm.
Wars and the Star Wars universe to a whole new generation. It's such a fascinating character, and there's so many layers. And it's not just
It
guys,
was, yeah.
It's so yeah, I'm with you.
But also, yeah, man, Boba Fett, come on, it was awesome, beautiful,
Well, you saw
beautifully
my
made,
costume
and
last year.
I know, I know, and we're on the same page with
Yes, we
this,
are.
I'm sure. And so I can't stand people who because it it doesn't come down to a matter of taste. Because if you don't like the genre, you shouldn't have watched it. You wouldn't have watched it in the
Right,
first place.
right.
So how can you, in your right mind, or be honest about this and say that it's bad a thing? It's not a bad thing. If it's
And
badly made, if it's not good made, if it's not good, okay. But it's not. It's
right, right.
brilliantly done.
Yeah,
It's great storylines, beautiful effects, everything's
yeah.
there. So
And I think,
okay.
another thing is you got to think about the love letter that fans send to Lucasfilm. And
Mm,
George Lucas, Lucasfilm has always said, you can't make money on our IP, but otherwise go wild. And as a result, there's an
mm,
entire culture of fan-made Star Wars films that explore alternate universes, that explore what if Luke
yes.
went this way instead of that way? What if?
Yeah.
And I went down that rabbit hole. There is hundreds of hours of high
Mm, I
quality
know you did. Yeah.
product out there. It's amazing. If you're a Star Wars fan, I encourage people to go out there and use your favorite
Yeah.
search engine to look up Star Wars fan films. Some of that
Yeah.
stuff is ridiculous in its production value.
Yeah. Sometimes, of course, obviously, you have lesser stuff, but that's
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah, but most
That's
most of
fine.
the people producing content anywhere from 10
Yeah.
minutes to an hour
Right.
pulling high quality stuff. And
Yeah.
honestly, Star Wars is one part space western, but it's also one part
Yeah.
the timeless romance. It's good versus
Mm,
evil. It's
right.
it's the opportunity for relationships to form, and
Hmm.
it's people responding to their purpose, their calling. That boy, that
Right.
that that that's pretty powerful stuff to me.
Mm, yeah. And to wrap it up, I like the musical score of Star Wars. Come on.
Oh,
Come on.
John
If
Williams is
you're
amazing.
Yeah, and if you're in a theater, or how do you call it, a concert hall,
Yeah.
you see a live
Yeah.
orchestra performing this stuff,
Yes.
go like, whoa, the tears come rolling from your eyes.
It's
It's
just
beautiful. It's
just
just
as
amazing. You go like, whoa,
you probably already know this.
yeah,
John Williams composed the Raiders of the Lost Ark music.
I know, I
Yeah.
know. The guy is
Yeah.
awesome.
No, you're
Yeah,
you're right. It's
yeah.
it's really heady, inspiring stuff, that music.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's yeah. That is one of that's sometimes music moves you to tears, and this is one of these
I
music
agree.
pieces that might
I
move
agree.
me to tears. That's
I agree.
amazing. Yeah. Every time a new film comes out, you're in the theater
Yeah.
and you sit there and it starts. My God,
Yeah, no,
that's
John
amazing.
Williams. I like
Yeah.
James Horner. He's done some amazing, amazing music. Soundtrack to Field of Dreams is incredible, which is a really popular
Mm,
American film, which
mm,
includes baseball, but really not so much. Baseball is almost secondary to it. But yeah,
right.
those composers really they
Yeah.
have their thumb on the heartbeat. They know
Right.
exactly what they're doing.
And there's this other guy, although I know he's very famous. I know he did a lot of scores, but I don't recall what he did. But Hans Zimmer,
Yeah, Hans Zimmer, yes.
what did he do? I
Miami
forgot.
Vice.
Right?
Yes.
Miami
Yeah.
Vice. Yeah, yeah,
I think he did a
yeah,
couple of the Mission Impossibles. So yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, great
Music,
stuff.
people,
It's
get some in your
amazing.
life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Music to the human soul is the same as art, man. You're dead without it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
That was fun. Holy crap. That was awesome. I love that.
We're s- we're speechless. How did
Yeah,
that
no.
happen?
I
Yeah.
want the people that are listening and watching, maybe share some of your favorite pieces of music or favorite composers.
Yeah.
And as we've said before, click like and subscribe, share with your friends, let us know what you'd like us to talk about. We, as you can tell, are not running out of anything to talk about. I
No.
love this. I love this,
Yeah.
and it reminds me every single time of the initial conversation that Tone and I had where we'd thought, well, can we make this, does this make sense? And Tone said, well, I don't really have much to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah, that's true. Well, we do. Well,
Yeah, we do.
for us, it's interesting. We'll see
Yeah,
what
it
it
is.
everybody else and everybody else is thinking, but
You know
that's
what?
fine.
We're
Either
putting
way,
our,
we're
that's
having
right.
fun.
We're putting
Yeah,
ourselves out there for the rest of the world.
yeah, yeah. And then I'm enjoying it. As long as I do, I keep on doing it.
Same, same.
And if not,
So,
we'll cut it. We'll stop it, and then we'll do it amongst ourselves.
yeah,
That's fine
yeah,
too.
I agree.
Yeah, great,
I agree.
great, awesome. Okay, man. I'm
Everyone,
gonna get along. Go, name. That's not. Sometimes English can be really,
no,
really
that was
difficult.
good. You're gonna get going.
Get going. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's exactly what
yeah.
I was trying to say.
I knew
So,
exactly where you were going, so I understood, and anyone
yeah,
who was listening or watching understood. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as for the record, Ron Fox is trying to learn Dutch for the longest time, and he's not understanding is not bad at all, but speaking is another matter
It's true.
entirely.
It's true.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe we can
But
do a podcast in Dutch one
oh,
day.
that would be that's a goal. That is a good goal. I like that idea. Or at least the first few minutes of it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
a heel goed idee.
oh my God. Ja, dat is grappig. Grappig. Okay.
Enjoy dinner, my friend. It's makkelijk. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut up some veggies and get going before my wife gets home.
Yeah, do that.
Okay, my friends. And
Everyone, thank you
I
for
wish
being a
you,
part of the silliness
yeah,
that is us. Thanks for
silliness.
listening. Thanks for participating. Thanks for partaking. And as I've said before, please be good to yourself and be good to others.
Right. And I wish you a beautiful, but maybe a stressful day as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully it
We wish
will,
you a
yeah,
stress-free day
yeah,
every day.
hopefully
Be
it will all turn out fine. Great, hopefully.
be wonderful and be beautiful to yourself
Yes,
and
I
to each
agree.
other.
All right.
Later!
Later. Doei.